Hey guys, F1 26 here, and welcome back to Heights of the F1 League, the finale of Season 5. The Drivers' Championship is wrapped up by the Amazement Joe last week in Brazil, so we are basically secured second as well, unless we have an absolute disaster. I think we need like 2 points in this race, so that should be pretty easy. Anyway, on to qualifying. We've already bottled our first attempt on the Super Softs, and we're now on our second attempt, so we head through turn 3. That's a lot of understeer. We're off the track, we're invalidated, we jumped over the curbs, we've spun the car, so that's not exactly what we intended, and as a result we're going to have to qualify on the Ultra Softs here, which is far less than ideal, but oh well. Joe and Luke went for the Ultras as well, so let's just mirror their strategy. Also, I apologise for the fact that I've royally cocked up the camera for qualifying. If you want to skip to 2 minutes 36, that's the end of qualifying, and the camera is fixed so you can see the bottom of the screen there. But onto our Ultra Soft lap now. We're just looking to get a decent lap in, which will get us third. I don't think we can compete with Luke and Joe today. They're much quicker around this track, but we'll give it a go. We're just really competing to finish third in the race. Again, the one-stopper possibility. Camundo did it last season to great effect and finished second, so we'll see people like Jork or CK maybe try that strategy. Obviously, we're locked into the two-stop, having qualifying on the Ultra Softs here. The lap so far been alright, nothing special really. As I said, just looking to qualify third, not get it invalidated, because that would be quite a big problem, it must be said. But so far, so good as we head down the second of the DRS straights. Presumably using the DRS, I can't actually see it because I'm useless, but yeah. End of sector 2 now. We're quite far down on Luke, who's currently on pole, to be honest. We've messed up that chicane as well, taking a far from ideal line as we now head into the remainder of the final sector. Not been a great lap. Someone gets out of the way there, thank you to them, as we now head down towards the castle, the hotel section. It's all nice and lit up in blue and purple, lovely, as we now head under that into the final 3 corners now. We've taken way too much curb, that's checked us out onto the exit curb there, which has cost us yet more time as we now head into the penultimate corner. That wasn't actually too bad, and the final corner as well, not too bad, as we head across the line for a fairly subpar time, but it was enough to get us third, although 8/10 off pole, but we'll roll with it. It's Amazement who takes pole here in Abu Dhabi, ahead of the Silent Roll, which means the qualifying championship is in fact a tie, but Joe had more poles, so he takes that home. Myself in third, Casey showing good pace once again, like in Brazil rather, to qualify fourth on the Super Soft. Sam qualifies fifth on the Ultras, and Jordan Gibson sixth. Shout out to him. Warden in seventh, and you can't see the rest, or I didn't see the rest in time. So yeah, strategy time. It's ultra soft, but I reckon we could get a super soft stint in there. It depends what others do, really. We'll just probably mirror others and see how that goes, because that, in my opinion, is going to be the best way to go about this race. Hopefully not get a penalty, and that should give us some rewards at the end of the race. Adjusting the fuel load slightly as we now head on to the formation lap. And this is potentially one of the greatest formation laps in history, so prepare yourself. Warden just goes past everyone at the start, but that's pretty standard stuff. But the end of the formation lap, you're about to witness one of the most fantastic events in formation lap history. If you race this race, you'll know what I'm talking about. The Silent Mole 45, his final league race here ever, and he was putting on a show for everyone really on the formation lap. As you can see, coming onto our grid slot now, and you think Luke's there in his grid slot, so nothing wrong there. But as you can see, he still has control of his car, and that's because he's actually reversed backwards and is about to put on a fantastic performance of how to do the formation lap. And that's why I'm changing my camera angle for some reason. Luke attempting to get into his grid spot properly. He's done it now, but as you're about to see, he's going to reverse. He's off. He's off to the back of the grid, and this was absolutely hilarious at the time. Luke just cheating the game, really. He's sort of parked it in between Casey and Ward now, and he's gone further down the grid. But yeah, the formation lap, for some reason it didn't kick him off, even though he was reversing and causing all kinds of carnage. and we can't actually see him at the moment, but I'm sure he'll be back. So yeah, that was Luke's way of saying goodbye to the league by messing up the formation. Oh, he's back. And where's he going? Well, he's gone back into his grid spot now. But yeah, that was his way of saying goodbye to the league by giving an interesting formation lap display, as he's now going to try and attack Joe and join him on pole. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Luke's fantastic formation. Oh no, he's coming to say hello to me. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Luke's formation lap display, and thanks to him for everything he's done to the F1 league. But anyway, we're on to the race now. It's 5 lights, and it's WAG 1, and away we dank for the final time this season. We've actually got a much better start than Luke. Clearly his tyres weren't very warm after his interesting formation lap, but we just let him take the inside there. Jordan Gibbs, absolute lad, up into P4. She's jumped Casey and Sam off the line, actually, so good job to him, as Joe now leads Luke and myself down towards the end of Sector 1 here. Pretty clean start once again. 14 people this week as we've outbraked ourselves slightly into turn 4 there, but it doesn't look to have cost us too much. Sam having a look at the Toro Rosso of Jordan Gibbs. Is he going to be able to get it done around the outside of the hairpin? It looks like he has, but as you can see at the bottom, Terranova has left the session, and that was pretty much it. Slipstream was gone. So we now have 28 laps of this race, no slipstream, at least off people who I was near at this point. So I'm not going to get any slipstream from Luke or Joe from the remainder of the race, as you can see, just not gaining at all. Our accident wasn't great, but we are in the slipstream, but no slipstream. So this is going to sort of cause disappointment, really, because there's not really such an opportunity to battle. And as you can see, lap 4, status quo. Joe's still leading from Luke and myself. Everyone's staying within DRS, but not actually able to pass due to the fact that slipstream didn't exist. Me and Joe come into the pits. Luke stays out another lap, and that's a poor call in my opinion, it must be said. He's going to leak a lot of time to us two by staying out, as we're going to get pretty powerful undercut onto the soft compound tyres down into 9th and 10th. We're going to be ahead of Lord Matt Twosome, which is good. I think he's probably had to come into the pits already because it's only lap number 4, so he must have pitted already. But yeah, it's looking pretty good for us. We're going to be seeing how far ahead we are of Luke, or if we even are ahead of Luke. If he's had a worldie in lap, maybe he could have jumped us. We've set a purple last sector though, so somehow I don't think so. Taylor the Vols in the pit lane among some others. We've already gone past Luke before we even get to turn 1, so he is going to be quite far behind. Jordan Gibbs, in fact, has also got past. Maybe we'll have to wait and see as they come out the pit exit, and indeed Jordan Gibbs also passed Luke, but that didn't last long. By the end of the lap, Luke is back ahead as we now cross the line at the end of lap 6. Joe sets the fastest lap. He must have literally just picked us there, as Warden's now in the pit lane. So Joe and I move up into 5th and 6th here, as we now head on to lap number 9. We've caught up to Grumpy Alliance, who I assume is attempting the one-stop here. We set a personal best. Joe just escaping from us, but we're still just about within the DRS, I think. Luke closing on us all the while. He set a fastest lap a couple of laps ago, so even though he lost time by doing the overcut, his pace is now better due to the fresher tyres, so we'll see. I reckon he should have kept track position ahead of us and pitted on the same lap. Maybe even jumped Joe because he's in the Red Bull, but he decided to go for the different strategy. Meanwhile, we've caught Grumpy Lion, who's done a fantastic job of holding up Joe for the entirety of the first sector, which has allowed me to re-catch up to the Renault drivers. We're now in the slipstream of the McLaren, nicely out of the way. Cheers, Lion, once again retiring from the league at the end of the season, so thanks to him as well for everything he's done in the league, especially that debut win in Spain. Shout out to you, Lion, if you're watching. Shout out to Luke as well, who's retiring from league racing, as well as Sam, my teammate for this season, who's also leaving the league. But yeah, it's looking pretty good at the moment, still on the back of Joe as we head towards Sector 3. We smashed the curb there, we've had to correct the car. That corner's just been ignored there, which I think was fair enough, but the game didn't think so. We've got a warning there. That's actually our second warning. I'm not sure where the first one was, but oh well, we'll roll with it. Skipping to lap number 10 now, and I think there's some people in the pits. Maybe CK the Flying Scot boxes in. Casey must have boxed at some point as well, which I missed, but oh well, we'll roll with it. Skipping on to lap number 13 now. Yeah, 13. We've caught Jork, who's going for the one-stop as predicted at the start of the video. I wonder how I knew that. And he's pitting for a set of softs to take to the end now. Once again, lap 16 rolls around and we're still behind Joe. No moves to be done. Joe's come into the pits. We follow him in, and Luke has now caught back up just as well. So we actually hit Joe there. Luckily, he didn't go over the speed limit. Otherwise, I would have expected a barrage of insults in the party. Apologies. But Luke's also in, so this has me slightly worried. Am I going to get jumped by the Red Bull? Joe's out, Luke's out, and indeed, we've been jumped. We haven't even changed the tyres, so it's a fantastic stop from the Red Bull. I think they did like 1.7 or something outrageous. But yeah, we've now dropped to P3, which isn't good, it must be said, or more P7 on the track, but net P3. But at this point, I can confirm both drivers do have penalties, so if we can stay within 3 seconds, we could win the race. That's all I'm saying. Also, we've got Jork definitely on the one stop, CK possibly, who we also have to negotiate. So it's not over yet. Anyway, Warden is on the 2 stop and he nicely gets out the way there. So shout out to him. Returning from the league after he left in Hungary. So it will be good to see him, the Kangaroo, back. He'll be back next season as well. As we now skip on to lap number 19. We've caught up the leading 2. Joe's having a look at Jork up the inside into the left-hander. There's contact. Joe's round. Unbelievable scenes of contact with Jordan there in the manor. And that means that we're promoted to sort of P2, but not really. We've got Jork and CK now battling it out for the lead. Luke and I happy to sit back at this point. And there's contact there into the wall. CK has no front right tyre. It's all over for the banana. Jork's lost his front wing. Absolute disaster there. And unfortunate for those guys, it was in fact a lag incident. These kind of things happen. We were lucky to avoid it and not get collected as well. But that means myself and Luke now up at the front. Joe in P3, it's closing us slightly but not sufficiently. But this is what I'm saying. I've just put these couple of laps in to show what the slipstream glitch is doing. And we're right behind him really, especially this one, lap 26 now. We're, I'd say, like 2/10 behind maximum. And we've got the DRS now, but we're barely gaining. And obviously, you know what the slipstream glitch is. The game's been out for over a year. But obviously, I know Luke has a penalty at this point. I'm just content to sit behind. Not that I could make a move, even if I wanted to, because of how ridiculous the slipstream glitch is. And I'm not really fast enough to challenge him elsewhere as Casey's rejoined the party there. As we now head towards the end of Sector 2. But yeah, we couldn't make the move on Luke, but we haven't got a penalty. So that means we are in fact going to take the win here in the finale of Season 5 of the F1 League under the hotel for the final time, the final race on this game on the F1 League. And it's going to be a win for myself. Luke will take second due to his penalty in his final ever league race. So well done to him. And Joe will take third, meaning it's the first time in the entirety of the season that us three have finished on the podium together. But yeah, that's it guys. We've won the race. Not on track, but due to penalties. Joe does a celebratory crash over the line, and that's it for this season pretty much. And even though it wasn't the championship for us or the constructors, I still thought I'd do some celebratory donuts to celebrate what is by far my best ever league racing season. Second in the championship, 4 wins, 11 podiums, a fantastic season for me. Congrats to Joe, well-deserving champion. Obviously, he had a DNF in Australia and a disqualification in Italy through no fault of his own. So I definitely think he deserved the championship. And I'm very happy with second. Luke, unfortunately, dropping back to third due to some bad luck and giving up really in the later end of the season as we do a flick spin into the hairpin now. It was Casey who took fourth. And I think my teammate Sam kept fifth in the end, despite having a very unlucky season. But yeah, that's been it for the F1 League for this season. Pretty happy with how it went, even though I didn't take the title, but still, I feel definitely I've improved a lot as a league racer throughout this season, and that is pretty much it. Donuts to celebrate, not the constructors for Haas either, obviously with CK DNFing, Red Bull held on to that, and we were only 4 points behind the Renault team in the end. The results are on screen now. It's me taking the win ahead of Luke and Joe. And Casey disconnecting near the end, but we decided to award him fourth because of how far ahead he was. Of the two McLarens, McLaren taking home a solid 5th and 6th. with Lyon actually ahead due to Warden being a cheating kangaroo and getting lots of penalties. Sam down in 7th, and I don't know what the rest of the results are. They're on screen now, and you can have a look. I think Pepsi in 8th, Jordan in 9th, and Hamilton Fan in 10th, something like that. It's on screen now. But yeah, that's been it for today, guys. F1 2016, the F1 League is finished. We've got a few Formula Xbox videos. I'll try and get those out as soon as possible. And then it's on to F1 2017. The standings might be on screen. It depends if I've managed to get them properly. If not, oh well, I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah, that's been it for today, guys. That's been it for the F1 League Season 5 on F1 2016. See you in a few weeks for Season 6. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.